This video is a part of a series of videos that is intended to provide the sport of obedience with a clear explanation of the individual obedience exercises, procedures, and scoring. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that you'll be notified when we have a new video. In order to master this exercise, it is important that the handler understand the regulations. While the regulations are not particularly entertaining, they must be read and studied in order to be successful. In this video, we will discuss the utility scent discrimination exercises. In Utility A, these exercises follow the signal exercise. The order of the exercises in Utility A is always the same. The order rotates in Utility B, and this order is order 1 of the 6 orders in Utility B. All utility exercises are performed off-leash. The principal features of these exercises are the selection of the handler's article from among the other articles by scent alone and the prompt delivery of the correct article to the handler. The scent discrimination exercises are unusual in that they are repeated. They are entitled Scent Discrimination 1 and Scent Discrimination 2. The exercises are always together in class order. Scent Discrimination 1, SD1, and SD2 are scored separately. In AKC Regulations, Chapter 5, Section 3, we are told that there are 30 points available for each exercise. The team must retain more than 50% of the points available in each exercise, or 15.5 points in order to qualify. The judge's orders for this exercise are you ready? This is a query. Take an article. The judge takes the article from the handler. Send your dog. Take it. Finish. Exercise finished. This is a statement. The process is then repeated for the second article. We will watch the entire video and then break down the process, procedures, and scoring.
Get back. Get in.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Take an article.
Wait.
What method will you use to send your dog?
Directly both times.
Thank you.
Sit and wait.
Thank you. Send your dog.
Fetch it.
Take it.
Out.
Finish. Exercise finish.
Yes.
Finish this off.
Now we will break down the procedures, regulations, and scoring. In the scent discrimination exercises, the dog is required to wait until ordered to fetch, then trot or gallop to the place in the ring where the steward or judge has placed the handler-scented article among 8 steward-scented articles. The dog must identify the handler-scented article using scent only, select that article, and deliver it to the handler. While this sounds simple enough, the regulations are quite detailed and require the dog and the handler to perform with precision and speed. The equipment required for scent discrimination are 10 articles in 2 sets. Each set of articles are composed of different material: wood, leather, or metal. The handler will present their articles to the ring steward shortly before their turn in the ring. The handler will have already chosen the material of composition of both sets. In other words, the handler will present to the steward 5 articles made of wood and 5 made of leather, or they will present 5 of wood and 5 of metal, or they will present 5 of leather and 5 of metal. The regulations do not mention a means of transporting the articles. It is generally expected that the handler will present the 10 articles in a bag or box for ease of handling. All 10 of the articles should be in the same compartment in the carrier. Construction of the articles is discussed in the regulations. Metal articles are to be constructed of all metal. Wood articles can be of more than one piece, forming a solid article. The leather must be made of leather. Articles are to be identical to the others in the set. Generally, articles are purchased from a vendor who designs them for competition purposes, but they can be homemade or formed from any household item. The articles may be unfinished, stained, or dyed, and must be designed so that only a minimum amount of fastening material is visible. The articles may display the person's name, the dog's call name, and/or the dog's picture or insignia. The articles in each set will be legibly numbered with a different number and must be approved by the judge. The scent discrimination or article exercise begins before the handler ever enters the ring. The judge will designate for the ring steward where he or she wants the articles placed in the ring. This is sometimes referred to as the article pile or just the pile. This is not an AKC term. The closest article must be about 20 feet from the handler. The judge will determine where the articles that are to be scented by the handler will be placed. This is usually on a chair or small table in the ring. The judge might place a line or mark to indicate where the handler is to stand. The handler may have the opportunity to learn how the judge will place their scented article in the pile. Judges are required to post the order of the exercise used in the B classes for that trial. This posting may include which jump will be first and where the articles will be placed. This is frequently done using a clock face to describe the position. The articles which the handler has scented might be placed at 12 o'clock and then 6 o'clock, for example. When the handler enters the ring, they should glance at the articles on the chair and ensure that these are their articles. Stewards occasionally set out the wrong articles because the bags or boxes have gotten moved or placed in the wrong staging area. After the signals exercise, the handler will move to the place where the scent discrimination exercise is to be performed. They should determine where the judge wishes them to stand. Once in position and on an indication to the ring steward, the articles will be placed at about 20 feet from the handler. They will be placed about 6 inches from each other. The steward will then clear the area. The handler can choose to watch the articles being placed or face away from them. If they have watched the articles being placed, they may turn away from them at any time without asking or receiving direction from the judge. The dog is to be in heel position and the handler standing naturally, awaiting the first order.
Stay.
Once the articles are in place, the judge will ask, "Are you ready?" On an affirmative response, the judge will say, "Take an article." This is considered the first order. The handler will choose one of 2 articles which have been previously placed on a chair or table nearby. Should the handler have to move out of heel position in order to get the article, he or she will return to heel position. The handler may talk to their dog, but may not pet their dog. At this point, the handler will scent the article
What
with their
method will you
hands
use to
only.
send your dog?
As the handler scents the article, the judge will ask, "What method will you use to send your dog?" The handler is to respond with, "After a sit," or "Send directly." These methods will be described in detail shortly. There is no specific time allotted for scenting the article, but the handler must hand it to the judge immediately when requested. The judge will then take the article, without touching it, either with a tool or his or her clipboard, and proceed to the pile. The taking of the article is considered the second order. Unless the handler intends to change methods with the next exercise, they should add both times to their response. This releases the judge from having to ask again. The judge may not ask if you will send the same way both times. Once the judge takes the article, the handler may no longer talk to their dog. After taking the article, then the judge will proceed to the pile and place it in the prearranged spot. All dogs will find the article in about the same position. Once the judge has placed the article in the pile and moved away from the pile, he or she will order, "Send your dog." While in heel position, the handler may give the scent to the dog at this point by extending the hand and palm on one side of their body. The handler can hold their hand in front of the dog's nose or may touch the nose in order to share the scent. The handler may bend their knees in order to reach the dog's nose. The handler must then return to the natural position. Using one of the two methods, the handler will send their dog to the pile. In the after the sit method, the handler may give a signal or command for the dog to heel. The team will then turn in place or pivot, then come to a halt. The dog will turn with the handler and sit in heel position when the handler stops turning. The handler can use either a left turn or right turn. The handler will then give the command or signal for the dog to retrieve. The handler is not required to use any particular word or phrase to command the dog. The second method of sending the dog is direct send. The handler performs a right about turn while simultaneously giving the command to retrieve. The dog is not to sit, rather it must go directly to the article pile at a gallop or trot. The dog may take a reasonable time to find the correct article, but it must work continuously to avoid a penalty. Once the correct article is identified, the dog should pick up the article cleanly and quickly. Should the dog drop the article or pick up an incorrect article and drop that, a minor penalty should be applied. Once the dog has returned to the handler, it will return and sit in the front position. The judge will order, "Take it." The handler will take the article. The dog must not resist releasing the article, and the handler should not have to force a release. The judge will order, "Finish," and the dog will go to heel position. The handler must not use the hand with the article in it in order to send the dog to the heel position.
Exercise
The judge will
finished.
then state,
Good boy.
"Exercise finished." At this point, the handler may release the dog. The handler will then prepare for the second article exercise by turning and assuming the starting position. There is no judge's order for this.
Exercise
At this
finished.
point, one of two things may occur. The judge might take the first article from the handler and place it on the chair or table with the other article and ask, "Are you ready?" Or what may occur is that the judge might not take the first article and instead say, "Are you ready?" On an affirmative answer, the judge would order, "Take an article." In this case, the handler would place the first article on the chair or table next to the second article and pick up the second article. We will now examine the scoring requirements of the regulations. As we do this, keep in mind that the judge is using experience, training, judgment, and the word and spirit of the regulations in order to assign any penalty necessary. In order to illustrate the penalties presented here, many of the situations shown are staged. These images are not reflective of any team's normal performances. Our volunteers were kind enough to allow us to record training or staged errors to enhance the viewer's understanding. First, we will look at those errors resulting in an NQ. The dog must leave and seek the article when directed to do so. Should the dog fail to leave his position or not go all the way to the article pile, it would result in an NQ.
Go, sir.
When using the after the sit method, the dog may not anticipate the fetch command or signal from the sit. This can be a close call, and the handler should recognize that any movement on his or her part could cause the dog to go. Likewise, a simple intake of breath in preparation for the command might send the dog. When using the send direct method, the dog may not anticipate the fetch, command, or signal from heel position. The expression is, "Timing is everything." It is essential that the handler give the command or signal and then the dog obey.
Go, sir.
The dog must return with the correct article and that article only. Of course, it is a far more frequent error that the dog return without an article or return with the wrong
Go, sir.
article. However, it is not unheard of for a dog to bring back more than one article. All of these would result in an NQ.
In. Out.
And in. Exercise minute.
Good girl.
The handler may not give extra commands or signals to fetch the article, retrieve, or to return. It is important to remember that any movement on the part of the handler or utterance of any kind can be considered a signal or a verbal command.
Come. Take it. Take it. Right there. Take it and come.
Now we will consider those errors that will result in a minor to substantial penalty. The dog must not change position once the handler takes the article from the chair. The handler may reposition the dog, however, there will be a penalty.
And sit.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Take an article.
Stay.
How will you be sending?
After a sit. Daisy, sit. Daisy, sit. Come on, get in and sit.
The handler may not pet the dog while scenting the article. Specifically, they cannot pet the dog once they have taken an article until the judge says
Yes.
exercise finished.
Wait.
The handler may not scent the article with anything other than their hands. Rubbing the article on a piece of clothing or under the arm
Are you
or
ready?
any other part of the
Take an
body
article.
Stay.
would result in a penalty.
What method will you use to send your dog?
Directly.
What method will you use to send your dog?
Directly. This one. This one. Okay. Okay. Good. Got it? Good.
Send your dog.
Go search.
Send your dog.
Go search.
Send your dog.
Search.
Send your dog.
Go search.
Send your dog.
Heel. Heel. Go search.
Send your dog.
Heel. Go search. Go search. Take it. Out.
Finish. Exercise finished. Thank you.
Good job. You stay. You stay. Good job. Good girl.
Send your dog.